Hey everybody, it's Aluna Michaels, Esoteric Astrologer, coming at you to talk about the events of October of 2019. Okay, let's see. The first thing to talk about is that the planet Mars has moved into Libra. So Mars has a 2-year orbit, so it stays in a sign 6 weeks to 2 months, And Mars is about action, and it can also be about anger, but it's about, moving through something. It's very forward, onward and upward kind of thing, even more than forward. And Libra has a lot to do with relationships and fairness and balancing what's fair and just. And, the sign of Libra is so much about often giving more than they're getting, or, kind of codependent sort of ideas. So when Mars goes through Libra, it can be a time to look at, are my relationships in balance? Am I feeling taken advantage of in certain ways? Or are you acting kind of passive aggressive because Libra is indirect a lot of times, instead of being able to say to somebody, hey, I'm not happy with how this is going, So using some reflection time to look at that sort of thing, whether that's a romantic relationship, families, work situations, like Mars and Libra wants to make the relationships clear, and like there's a way the energy can move through the relationship easily, things get accomplished, and that you can be a team. If it's a team of 2 or more, it's like working together rather than subconsciously sabotaging things, So it's being aware of those little snags and working them out, So of course the sun is in Libra for a lot of October, but a lot of other planets are in Scorpio, which bring a lot of depth of insight. So any meditation work, especially the planet Mercury, is the communication planet, moved into Scorpio. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So Mercury went into Scorpio. Let's see. Oh yeah, that was like on the 3rd, just yesterday. So Mercury's going to be in Scorpio for a long time because it's going to retrograde. Oh no, it's going to be okay. But Mercury will go retrograde on Halloween, basically, in Scorpio, and then it goes back to almost the beginning of Scorpio, and then goes forward again. So instead of being 3 weeks to a month in the sign, it's going to be till like the first week of December. So that is a wonderful time. Again, Mercury in Scorpio is about depth of understanding, and a retrograde also is, I want to go through this again. I want to see how I think, why I do, why are things as they are. And so especially in the relationships, like if there are patterns to examine, the Mercury can see the pattern, and you can kind of easily dip into it because you don't even have to dig that hard. It's like the intention to figure it out, and it's like, oh, it's right there. I figured it out, So not having any fear about looking deep into what's going on in your heart about things, and facing, this part of a relationship is dysfunctional, or I'm willing to do this, I don't know if they're willing to do that, and just sort of having a game plan kind of is that whole time Mercury's retrograde too, and it's being able to see, if I, like a chess game kind of, but if I do that, will this person push back, or will we move forward together, or we could go this way, and then kind of pondering the different ways and being able to say, yeah, this seems like the best way. And that Mercury retrograde can be really, really helpful for that. So again, I'm saying it's turning retrograde the end of the month, but there's a thing called the kind of shadow of Mercury retrograde. So that starts on the 11th of October. We go into this pre-retrograde time. So you can kind of get a jump on that by doing some of that inner examination. It's also great for creative visualization kind of things, understanding questions in dreams, getting messages from your soul or from, whatever spiritual beings you feel are around you. It's like the veil is really thin. And this thing with Halloween coming up and all that. But Mercury retrograde in Scorpio especially is like, I just know stuff. I just kind of just go a little bit outside of my moment-to-moment thinking, and it's right there, So that's a wonderful time for healing these relationships because the insights you can have. Now, here's another interesting pattern to talk about the the full moon and then the new moon. So the full moon happens on the 13th, kind of when that Mercury starts to go retrograde. So we've got the sun in Libra and the moon in Aries opposite each other to full moon. So again, Libra being so much about relationships and the other person in the relationships, and Aries is like me, and it's like it can be a real battle of wills that, and of course it's only a full moon, only lasts a little bit of time, but it's could illuminate some patterns to look at, with somebody. And also the sun and moon will both be making a square to the planet Pluto. And Pluto is about power struggles. And so, and again, it can be facing things like, even if you don't like to bring up troubles in partnerships or at work, but really being able to see like, Pluto can be some issue where you really, your needs are denied, you've been overlooked, they're shortchanging your paycheck, or, I don't know, but something where you can feel nervous about bringing it up, but it's like, oh, I know I've got to. Like Pluto will make you feel like I have to make this right, because it's this higher level. When I mentioned that the moon in Libra is about personal sense of justice, Pluto's an urging to do it. It's sometimes Mars in Libra just thinks about it, but that Pluto at the full moon, we've got to do this. We've got to feel better about this, and even if it's scary, I want to bring it up. I don't have to freak out at somebody, but I need to bring up, like, there's got to be an option here, because one of the things with that full moon can make you feel like you don't have options, and that's where, again, it can be some people being passive aggressive and whatever, because they're not wanting to confront and ask and come up with a solution together kind of thing, but people can just feel, oh, I'm trapped because my fear of talking to you is making me feel trapped, and then they can act like a jerk. You're like, what's going on, so that full moon can bring that up. Now the new moon is on the 27th, and that's the sun and moon together, and that'll be in Scorpio, and those guys are going to be opposite the planet Uranus. And as much as Pluto can feel trapped, the sense of, it's a different feeling of trapped, kind of like someone's looming over you, whereas Uranus can feel like, I'm getting out of here, so, and it can be a lot of arguments, and so it's like there's sort of something grumbling, at the full moon, that if you can address it, it doesn't have to be like, bleh! At the new moon, people are just, not just feeling subconsciously sabotaging, but outrightly just losing their tempers or, feeling frustrated. So if you start with a positive way to do that full moon, to say, hey, I'm scared to bring this up, or, this feels a little awkward, but could we bring this up? Then the new moon can be a sense of victory and feeling like we solve something together. We are part of this collaborative connection, which Uranus at its best, instead of feeling like I need to get away from this or you, it's like we're in it together and there's space for me to be me in this connection, So there's a way that the problems could be solved ingeniously throughout the month. And if you don't want to do it, again, it could explode in your face and then be like, oh, it happened anyway. I should have just, started it sooner. And then instead of putting pieces back together, we can just be, having this new revolutionary outlook together and enjoying the results, Either way, it's going to get exposed or cleared out, so might as well do it sooner to have it be smoother. Okay. So another thing is that I wanted to bring up that at the this was the 2nd of October, the planet Pluto itself is moving forward. And a lot of people are nervous about, Saturn and Pluto together in January because Pluto moves slower than Saturn, but they're going to, conjunct in April. That was last year. They're going to conjunct in January of 2020. So with Pluto moving forward, it's like kind of that sense of unrest, like some things I need to address in myself, some things, let's take care of these things. And it's like these opportunities as we go from now to January, giving you this bigger picture, that there's more groundwork already laid down. So when you get to January, you can have smoother sense of personal empowerment and less bumpiness that some other people might experience with Saturn and Pluto together, because it's so much about finding your own strength, but can be like breaking through limitations, breaking through fears to find your strengths. So there's some stuff here in October about looking at relationships and, what is sort of unnecessarily taking up your time with worry that just be cleared out, And so Pluto moving forward can give that courage to say, I really want to do this, so it doesn't have to feel like a looming. You can feel like this is my moment, to improve for everybody involved. But I'm those fire starter sort of. So, okay. So that's your information for October. And if you'd like to get a reading from me, please contact me at alunamichaels.com. I've got my phone number underneath the video on YouTube, 248-583-1663. And also I have a little book on Amazon Kindle, the spiritual gifts of the 12 astrological signs that can help you understand your sign more. You can look up your sun, moon, and even rising sign if you have that. So bye-bye for now, and have a great month, and enjoy your empowerment and insights. Don't forget to ask your intuition, because you will get those insights. Bye.